first of all, just kind of go through your coaching history, all the different sports you coached, and maybe, I mean, you don't have to get the exact years correct, but maybe time frame wise.
Sure. When I first started teaching back in, it would have been in 1984, I started out as the junior high football coach, and then I coached, of course, high school basketball, girls basketball. So I think that's the only two that I had when I started. Then I picked up assistant volleyball for a while, and I did that for a few years. And then it didn't really work out with that and junior high football at the same time. So I gave it up once. Then a few years later, I had a chance just to do the volleyball. So that's when Gary Stevens was coaching. So I quit the junior high football and just did the assistant volleyball then. But I've also done junior high and high school girls track. I did softball, high school softball for a couple of years. I think that's about it. I think I hit them all.
Well, that's a lot. All this at Stanton, right?
Yeah, all at Stanton. I coached. I've been here since '84, so this is actually my 32nd year of teaching here in Stanton.
Now, how did you get it? I mean, how did you get interested in teaching and coaching? What was maybe in your background that led into that?
Well, when I first went to school, I really had no idea I was going to end up being a teacher or a coach. I actually wanted to get into like wildlife management or forestry or things like that. And then when I was in school, we had a chance to work with some younger kids at some basketball type camps, and I really enjoyed that. My advisor kind of said, you know, the job situation in those other fields might be a little tough to get into. So that's when I made the move to education, and that led to coaching. So that's kind of how I got onto it there.
Well, where are you originally from, and then what school did you go to, and all that good stuff?
I'm originally from early Iowa, so I graduated from high school from Crestland. Back in those days, it was Crestland High School. And then I went to a small junior college up in Hawarden, Iowa. It was called Sioux Empire. It's not there anymore, but I went 2 years there, and then I finished my last couple years at Westmar College in Lamar's, and that's not there anymore either. Yeah. So,
what's Crestland now?
Let's see. I think now that's part of Ridgeview. I think it's Early and Shaler and Holstein, and I'm not sure how many more.
Okay. Right. Yeah. So a lot of Northwest Iowa schools you went to there. Were you an athlete? What were your sports?
In high school, yeah, I participated in everything that I could. Couple of years even we were able to participate in golf and track at the same time, so I did a little of that. But yeah, all the other sports: football, basketball, baseball. And then when I went to college, I played basketball. Okay. Yeah, college basketball.
Well, you can brag a little bit, or you can be humble. What kind of basketball player were you?
Well, when I first started out, and when I got to the junior college, I was really kind of amazed that such a small school could get such really good players. But we had players from everywhere, so it was kind of tough to get broken in there. But once I got going, it went pretty well. Coach Dauma, I don't know, it was Les Dauma. He was actually recruited me and my roommate from the junior college to go to Westmar, and then he ended up going to Northwestern to coach. Mm-hmm. But I ended up going to Westmar anyway, and had a really good last 2 years there. Played with some really good people, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had some really nice teams the 2 years I was there.
You said the name Dauma. That's quite I'm trying to connect some dots here. Like a Craig Dauma, is there a relation there?
I think that could be his son. Is he coaching over at Creston right now? Right? Yeah, I think that's Les's son. Yeah.
Cool. I guess from there you get out of college, and so you're like an 83 grad at Westmar, 84 grad maybe? 84,
okay. 84. I was on the 5-year plans.
84 grad there, and so first job offer is Stanton. What do you remember from that?
I remember a lot of friends of mine getting into education had sent out like tons of applications and were not getting any feedback. And I was pretty fortunate because I had only sent out maybe 10 or 12. But just thinking about those other people, when I got the chance to interview and they offered me the job, I wasn't going to pass it up. So.
We'll circle back around here. I want to touch on your first job as girls basketball coach, right? 6-on-6. Did you know anything about that? How did you go about learning that?
I didn't really know a whole lot about the 6-on-6 game, but the basketball, the fundamentals and everything are the same. But had a great assistant coach, Eddie Engstrand. Did a great job. Taught me a lot of things. So.
Did you have any influences? You mentioned Eddie Engstrand there. Any influences coaching-wise, maybe before Stanton or when you got to Stanton too?
I just had some good, good relationships with my high school coaches. Really great guys, and just learned a lot of stuff. Not only about basketball, but you learn a lot about life and the whole works. And but I'm sure I took a few things that they taught me. And then once you come here, like I said, Ed was a great influence. Talking to Coach Hicks a lot. So when you finally get, I guess, your coaching style, it's really a bunch of everybody you've seen before and the things that you've learned from a lot of different people.
I said I would circle back around to your family. Everybody knows your daughters, but can you talk about your wife? Where'd you meet her, and then all that?
Okay, sure. My wife and I met at Westmar, and I think that would have been maybe our junior year. And so after a couple of years there, she actually graduated a year before me. Like I said, I was on that 5-year plan. So I went the extra year. We were married in '84, the spring of '84. And part of our honeymoon, I guess, was to come down here and try to find a place to live. So.
Is she a teacher too?
She teaches over at Red Oak. She's a PE teacher over at Red Oak. Been there for quite a few years. She's done some coaching over there, some junior high volleyball. Not coaching anything right at the moment. But
where's she from?
Sheldon. Oh. She was from Sheldon, Iowa.
Okay, so she probably knew some volleyball as well. Obviously Krista comes along, and then Katie, and then Carmen. I don't know if you can offer any. I don't know, from from Carmen or from Katie's perspective of growing up with a father who is a coach, and they were probably always around in the gym.
Yeah, started with Krista when she was old enough to probably when she started school. She always had the opportunity to either take the bus home after school, or she could stay for practice, and she pretty much always chose to stay, always in the gym. She was pretty much a gym rat. And then when she started playing, of course, then it was about time for Katie. So, she kind of followed in Krista's footsteps and so on. So, yeah, they've been in the gym a bunch, not only in basketball, but, all the sports. And so, yeah.
Well, Krista, I didn't get a chance to cover her. She was a 1,000-point scorer in college, so I mean that says all that needs to be said, really. But Katie was awesome in all of her athletics, and Carmen came along and was just as good too. Can you talk about what it meant to you to coach your daughters, and they had so much success?
Mm-hmm. For me it was a lot of fun. Now I've talked to a lot of coaches that don't like to coach their own kids. But for me, it was, I always enjoyed it. I guess, when the coaching part was over and we left the school, we left it here. And we never really brought that home with us, I guess. So it was good. I think it was probably harder on them because I think I probably expected a lot more. out of them. I kind of knew what I could push them to, and more than the other kids, you know. But all in all, it was a great experience, you know. Whether it was the wins or losses or whatever, you know, sharing those with your family is always special.
That's interesting. You were able to just leave it, you know, at the gym or at school or whatever. How was that just something you said, hey, this is how it's going to be done, or how did that happen?
No, I think it's just the way it was. I mean, we really never sat down and said, okay, you know, once it's over, and we're not going to really, you know, go home and replay things over and over and over and over. And so, you know, it was just, I guess it just kind of happened naturally that way. And, you know, it worked out really well.
Krista played basketball in college. Katie and Carmen both played volleyball. Would you say those were their respective best sports?
Yeah. With Krista, she was obviously, she liked all the sports too, just like the other ones. And there came a time when she wanted to do some club volleyball at that time, and I kind of said, no, you really can't be doing club volleyball because, you know, you're too important for the basketball team. And I could just see her, you know, spraining an ankle or something. So she really never got the opportunity to go off and do some other things in some other sports. But then when Katie came along, you know, I could tell early that maybe volleyball would be her thing. So she got to go do the club stuff, and that was really helpful for her because it, you know, she got a lot of exposure to a lot of good college coaches, and that was really good. I thought that was probably the best for her, and I think that was her strong sport. And Carmen was just the same. I mean, pretty good in everything. Volleyball was probably her best, but you know, they were all pretty good in basketball too. I wouldn't mind having them for, you know, having them a few more years. Would have been nice to have them all together.
Corner coaches are glad they weren't there any longer. Carmen, quite the trackster too. Couple of finalists twice in the hurdles.
Yeah, she was best. She was by far the best tracker out of the three. Had the most success anyway. Yeah, she actually finished 4th and 7th in the 100 hurdles 2 different years, and then her shuttle hurdle relay team placed 4th their junior year. So yeah, she had and went all 4 years. She was able to participate all 4 years in track.
Well, let's. Can we get an update on all those? I know Carmen's still going at it, and Katie just, I think, finished up volleyball.
Right now, Krista is teaching PE and health over at Clark Osceola, and she coached varsity volleyball this year. That was her first year. It's her first year over there. She was at Boyer Valley for 2 years, and so she's over there now. Katie just did finish up her volleyball season maybe a couple weeks ago at Grandview. She's got 1 semester of school left. She played for 3 years, and then last year she took the whole year off. She had some back problems, and really thought she might give it up. But about halfway through the season last year, she decided that she wanted to try to come back and play 1 more year. So they kind of redshirted her. So she did come back and play some. Played about every other match, and then when she played in matches, sometimes she'd only get to play 2 or 3 sets, depending on how the back felt. But you know, did a great job, I thought, while she was in there, and I think she was really happy that she got to have a senior year. And Carmen just finished up their season over at Swick. She's just over at Creston. They had a nice season. They had a few. She played with like Maddie Walston from Bedford, and the girl from Marie Palmer over here at Southwest. They were on the team this year. They had a girl from Orient, so some local girls. But they had a decent season. I was hoping they'd make it to 500, but they didn't quite make it. I think they were 11 and 13 or something like that. But yeah, she had a nice year. So I don't know. I'm not sure about her if she's done or not. She's going to transfer at the semester. She's done at semester. and she's going to transfer down to Northwest.
Okay.
So volleyball still up in the air. Don't know yet for next year.
All right, keep that in mind, Northwest. Darcy Sunderman from Clarinda's there too. So, I guess now kind of going back to your coaching career, looking at it overall, any one game or moment or anything like that stick out to you? Any sports?
Well, in basketball, let's see. I guess the year we won the conference tournament for the first time, that was a lot of fun. Had a really, really nice team, and it seemed like we could get to the final game, but we just couldn't win that thing. And then I don't even know what year it was, but we beat at that time I think it was Southwest. Okay. It was when Hamburg and Sydney were together there for a couple years, but we beat them in the final. So that one kind of sticks out in my mind. Track-wise, we had a girl when I first started coaching track, was a really good distance runner, Teresa Booth. And watching her run at the Drake Relays is always one of the things that I'll never forget. She ran a great race. She ran the 3,000 up there and finished fourth. So that was always a highlight of mine. And then when I coached softball, obviously, when the girls made it to the state tournament in softball, that was a big thing too.
Basketball, your girls had so many good years. The year, the one you lost to Bedford, that regional final, was that maybe one of your toughest losses?
Well, the thing that made it tough was we had a chance to win that one. We played in a lot of district finals or regional finals, but it seemed like we always played like Trainer, and they were always, so much better than we were. And that one, I thought we played a great game that night against Bedford, and we're so close. But that's the way it goes. I don't know if it was disappointing. I think actually I thought we played really, really well. I think if you just compare teams, they were probably a better team than we were as far as scoring wise and things like that. We were more, I think for us, in order to win that, we had to really play very, very well defensively, and we did. It came down to the Beamer girl making a great shot. That's the way it goes. When she shot that, I said, yeah, great. And then it swished. And
do you still see that shot sometimes going through the air?
I still think about that game once in a while. Yeah. And I see her occasionally, like when we go to volleyball games. She's over there and visiting with Madison and some of those girls. And it's kind of ironic that Madison and Carmen, pretty big rivals all the way through high school, and now they're roommates over at Swick. Really good friends. So it's really weird the way things work out.
Yeah. Once you take off the jersey for the final time, put on a different one, maybe it changes a little bit.
Yeah,
volleyball, they went to the state, Carmen every year she went to state, I think. And did you ever imagine such success for a little corner conference school?
No, not really. But it's they just kept getting better, a little better every year. Again, they played in some regional finals. Before they broke through, and that just, I think, gave them enough confidence. And they played some good teams. The Bedford team that they played to go to state that first time, that was a good team too. But yeah, it was fun to see their success. Yeah.
Well, I got to ask about this Sydney volleyball team. I think probably the best Stanton team was when Katie and Carmen were on the same team. How do they match up?
It's hard to say. It's hard to compare. But I didn't really get to have a chance to see too much high school volleyball this year. I did see them when they played at the state tournament. They looked good. They a great defensive team, I thought. Didn't let anything hit the floor. They're really scrappy, and when they had a chance to hit, they could put it away. So, it's hard to say because the teams that they played and the teams that we played up there, it's hard to compare. But they're both very good. I don't know which one's better.
Bring them out. Let's have a little scrimmage. I'll ask you lastly. You're not coaching anything now. You coach so many different sports, and now got a little free time on your hands. I assume a lot of that was spent traveling and watching Carmen and Katie. But what else is going on?
With the whole fall here, we went to. I said we didn't get to see many high school games, but we saw a lot of volleyball. There were some nights or some weeks where we'd be, 4 or 5 nights, depending on the weekend. We were at games, one or the other. So, it was a lot of that. Other than that, so far this school year, really haven't done a whole lot. But, I got to say that up until this point anyway, I really haven't missed, going to practice or anything like that yet. But you never know. It might hit later on.
Think you'll ever coach again?
No, I think I'm pretty much done. Yeah, that's it. That was a lot of fun. I mean, I wouldn't have traded the last 31 years in for anything. Played or coached a lot of great girls. I have tons and tons of memories. So it's been a lot of fun.
Bruce, Coach, actually, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it too.